So I was sitting here planning out my weekly videos, looking at them videos about color theory, C dramas, how different cultures approach stories, all very serious, very studious. And then I realized I didn't want to do any of that, so I decided to talk about Maze Runner, which I don't think Maze Runner gets talked about enough anymore. Not because it was perfect by any means, but because it made us feel something with dystopians, especially after the Hunger Games came out, you know? It was about confusion, fear, curiosity, and somehow hope. Because if you really think about it, being dropped into a place with no memories, no answers, and no escape, be honest with yourself. Would you survive that? Would you? The Maze Runner came out in 2014, and for a lot of us, it was our introduction into dystopian stories. They weren't just about romance or rebellion, but survival. For me, that all happened last year. It's crazy to say last year. It felt like 2025 was literally yesterday, but here we are, January 6th, 2026. Huh? Anyway, it's about a group of boys trapped in a place called the Glade, surrounded by a maze that changes every night, filled with monsters, rules, and consequences. No memories, no adults, no explanation, just one question. How the heck do we get out of here? So, the real question is, why does the Maze Runner still work even years later? Is it nostalgic, or is there something deeper behind the story, or the characters, and the way it makes us care? A little light synopsis, no spoilers, just a little bit of a background to what we're getting into here. At its core, the Maze Runner follows Thomas, a boy who wakes up in a box with no memory of who he is, only to find himself in the Glade, a community of boys trying to survive inside a deadly maze. Every day, runners map the maze. Every night, the wall closes, and no one who enters it after dark survives, until things start to change. One of the strongest part of the Maze Runner is the setting. The Glade isn't just a place, it's similar to a system, rules, jobs, hierarchy. Everyone has a role, because without structure, they fall apart, right? And that's what makes it believable. The maze represents the unknown, fear, confusion, growing up without guidance. You don't know who put you there, you don't know why, and you just know that you have to adapt when you enter it in a cage. Crazy. But what really carries this movie isn't just the mystery, it's the characters. Thomas isn't special because he's smarter or stronger. He's special because he asks questions that they long forgot to ask. You know, because you've been in there for a while. Who wants to ask the same questions over and over again? It's like asking the person, do we have anything other than apples? Well, how about you stop asking, because you know the answer to it. Anyway, he's special because he asks questions. New represents hope, calm, steady, leadership without ego. Mino is loyalty and courage. Albie is responsibility, like a father figure for all of them. Each character reflects a different way people respond to fear. Some enforces rules, some challenge them, some break under pressure. And watching those dynamics clash is what makes the story so engaging. Now the theme, survival versus humanity, right? What the Maze Runner does really well is ask, do we survive by following the rules or by questioning them? Is safety more important than freedom? And what happens when the system meant to protect you starts to fail? You see this with the pacing and tone. The pacing is tight. The movie doesn't explain everything right away, and that's intentional. You confuse because the characters are confused. You learn as they learn, and that shared confusion builds tension without overwhelming the viewers. Now, I did not read the book, okay? I'm just doing this based off the movie so far, because you know how adaptations of books to movies is different sometimes. So if you want to say anything about that in the comments, feel free to do so. Now, I gotta throw in some criticism, because I gotta be balanced with all of this. Now, is the movie perfect? No. Some characters don't get enough development. Some answers come quickly, and if you compare it to the books, you might notice things missing, as I said before. But as a movie, it's understandable. You understand its purpose as it goes, especially with 3 movies. I think I watched 3 movies. Yeah. So is the Maze Runner just nostalgic? To be honest, I don't know, because I did not watch it when it first came out. I just started watching it now. I think it still eats. I think it eats because it's my first time watching it. But for you, is it nostalgic? I think it's a reminder that good stories don't need everything explained. It was very simple to follow along. It didn't confuse you enough to be like, I'm turning this off. It just followed. It was understandable on a 5th grade level. I think that's a good explanation. But they need strong characters, clear stakes, and a reason to care. And the Maze Runner did exactly that. So now I want to hear from you. Did the Maze Runner still hold up for you? Or did it change when you rewatched it? Let me know in the comments. And as always, I'll see you around because I'm getting hot in this cardigan, y'all. And in this beanie, I'm getting hot. So I see y'all around. Bye bye.